What's going on, arcade nerds? I haven't done a video for a while. I've been busy doing a lot of things, and it's been bugging me. I need to do a video. I want to do a video, and I have no idea what to do a video about. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start a video where I'm going to talk about just random things, whatever comes off the top of my head, and I'm going to show you around my little work area down here in the basement. Okay, so let me flip this camera around. You know what? Let me back up. I'm backing up. I'm purposely not going to show you one corner of my basement because it's a mess. It's always a mess down here. I was actually debating not showing anyone. I was debating on never showing my basement on YouTube ever. But what the hell? It's a little futon that I'll sleep on sometimes. This is why. Look at all this mess. I know, and I'm not going to show you over here because it's even messier. But yeah, here's some of these pie position boards in various stages of assembly. I have some more pie position boards down here I'm working on. This is an interesting story. I was at an auction and I picked up a display for Google. It was a Google something you talk to, made by Google. And I picked up a whole damn display for $5. And I was like, man, that would make a cool table. And so I made it into a table, and I ordered some glass. I'm gonna put glass over it. You won't see this these 2x4s. And what it's gonna be, it's gonna be all like white on the edges. It'll be a giant white table that will let me. And anyways, long story short, my plan is, if I ever want to make a YouTube video and talk about something in the schematics, I'll be able to use a dry erase marker on the schematic and on the whole table and talk about circuits and so on in the future. I don't know, something like that. That's my plan, at least. We'll see. Here's a little fish tank I got there. There's the sump for it. It's a saltwater tank. This is just random TV I use for, watching TV. This is an oldie computer that I use just for burning EEPROMs. So EEPROM programmer down there, EEPROM eraser. Denatured alcohol. That's what I wash circuit boards before I sell them. Here is my RB5X robot. One of these days, I keep telling myself I'm going to make a video about this. I bought this from someone, and I never did look at it yet. I'm just so busy doing other things. Oh, here's something cool. Check this out. A guy that watches the YouTube channel lives locally to me, and he brought something over, and he says, "Jason, can you fix it?" And I say, "Yeah, sure." And he says, "Well, what do I owe you?" And I says, "Nothing." And so he says, "Well, I print stuff. I'll print you out something." So I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And so he printed that. I thought that was pretty cool. But I don't know. Let me put the camera down and let's. Oh, by the way, this is where I assemble circuit boards and stuff. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different soldering irons there, and me and the wife and the kids, we assemble circuit boards and stuff. Yeah, so anyways, I'm just going to set the camera down, think of something just to talk about in this video. I have no idea what to talk about. I picked up a book a couple months ago, and I thought it was pretty cool, and maybe some of you electronics nerds might appreciate it also. This book is called Inside the Personal Computer, and it's a pop-up book. Now I can open this up. Check it out. There's a computer. It tells you all the simplistic things you might need to know. This would be around the, in the 80s when this was made. And there's these things like this. Look at this. I got a little tiny floppy drive right there. And I think this does something, and I can't remember how to access it. Maybe I move this. Maybe it's broken. Oh no, there goes something. Can you see the... Anyways, check out this. This, I don't know, I think this is pretty cool. And this is a little keyboard. And it explains if the keyboard is, if each key is pressed, what actually the computer sees in binary. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's like zeros and ones. And it explains things like how a transistor would operate. And so on. It explains what the ASCII code is for different letters and the binary equivalent. And here's for all the different letters. C, J, I'm sorry, M. Check this out. Isn't that cool? So then it explains, like, boy, I wish the lighting is bad. It sucks. Anyway, so it shows like a mock-up motherboard for a computer. It explains the ROM, the CPU, and so on. And check out this little tiny chip. You see that? That's supposed to be a little chip. This little plastic thing. And you stick it in somewhere, right here. You can stick it right in there. It explains, you know, just the basics of, like, you know, what these little computers from the 80s were. And it shows a die. I don't know what this die is from. But, I don't know, I just thought it was pretty cool. Here's a little disk drive. Pops up like there. And see this little here, this guy here? This shows the head moving across the disk. And here is a floppy disk, and it explains the sectors and tracks and stuff. Now, what does this do? Does this do anything? Oh yes, it does! Right here. So here you go. Yes, sectors and tracks. Oh, and this is cool. This shows a CRT, right? Now this is from the back angle of the inside of the tube. It explains that about the electron beam and how it draws an image across the screen with a raster monitor, of course. And I'm not sure what this is saying. I haven't opened this book for a couple months, so I don't really know. Showing different screens. Here's a little printer. Back then this would have been like a 9-pin printer probably. I don't know, I just thought that was pretty cool. It explains what a dot matrix printer does and how it has different pins, and the pins actually stamp the paper and all that to make the image. I don't know, isn't that a cool book? Just a random thought, but hey, that was totally worth. I think I paid $15 delivered from eBay, so it's a relatively cheap book. I always thought that was a cool thing. Here's something else that's kind of random. Right here we have an Asteroids Deluxe PCB, right? This is a special Asteroids Deluxe PCB. Now, if you're familiar with these PCBs, you may know that this is the RAM, 2114 RAM. Okay, now, if you notice, there's no traces between these chips. Normally with an Asteroids Deluxe, all these traces are populated. And the interesting thing is the back of this PCB. This is a prototype Asteroids Deluxe PCB. As you can see, before they put the traces in, or if maybe they decided to map the memory differently, I don't know. So this could be a early or a late attempt with this board. What they did is they actually did all of these by hand. It's called wire wrapping. And so what they did is they actually wrapped the wire around every single pin. Now I actually did, I picked this up with the intent on repairing it, and I haven't done it yet. I noticed that just about every one of those wires has a bad connection. And I almost don't want to fix it because it'll remove, if I were to fix it, I'd have to pretty much rewrap everything. So, I don't know, to me it's kind of important that it's a prototype and I don't want to mess it up. So, you know, in other words, me fixing it would literally involve redoing everything. So, I'm just going to leave it alone as is. Atari Asteroids Deluxe prototype. Pretty cool, huh? Here's something interesting. It's vector related, but maybe not so much arcade related. Now, this was damaged in the mail. I'll tell you the story about this. A friend of mine, he mentioned something about a weird calculator, and he said, "Are you interested?" And I said, "Nah, probably not. Yeah, I don't know." You know, and then he showed a picture, and I said, "What the hell is that?" So I looked it up. And it turns out this is a vector calculator. Yes, that is a vector monitor. It uses electrostatic deflection rather than magnetic deflection. And what it is it's a computer. Well, you could say it's a computer. It acts like a regular calculator, displays the image on screen in vector format. I actually repaired the board now. Underneath this thing is a giant board. The entire bottom of this board, entire bottom of this whole unit is one giant PCB. Anyways, I got the board working. There were several bad chips, but I've never fixed the monitor. And the only reason I haven't fixed the monitor is because I believe all I need is 2 capacitors, and they're oddball capacitors, and the capacitors are like $30 a piece, and I'm not going to pull the trigger on that. Not yet. Not now. But anyways, yeah, so unfortunately, this was a complete unit with the cover and everything, and my friend did not ship it. He had the guy that owned it ship it to me, right? Well, the guy that owned it, he didn't package it at all. He just like threw it in a box, and it was all one solid piece, and the whole thing just shattered to a million pieces. This whole top just literally broke off in a million little pieces. But anyways, isn't that a cool piece of history? The side view of that monitor. How cool is that? Yep, a vector calculator. Here's a few little boards that I've made recently. Very, very simplistic PCBs. And anyways, when I made the pi position, I found that some of these optos did not work that Atari made. So I made an opto and gave an opto PCB like this with every pi position, and I will continue doing that, just in case you have a different revision opto PCB. Anyway, so I posted on Facebook and it says, "Hey, anybody interested in these?" Because I already have like hundreds of them, and a bunch of people were interested. And so, so I made a few of them, and then it was kind of a pain in the ass shipping all those in the mail. And so I sold, I forget, a couple hundred of these to mikesarcade.com. So if you're interested in any of these, you can buy these at mikesarcade.com. And then someone recently asked me to make an opto for Arkanoid. I guess according to him, the optos fail often. And so I said, yeah, sure, why not? So he sent me his spinner, and I made an opto. And you know, if you're getting boards this small, it's you can get it. You know, for example, it's really cheap. So I got like 50 of these or 100 of these or some crazy amount. And it was only a couple bucks more than just buying 1 or 2. So I just, you know, I made that just for fun. Gave one back to the guy. And you can also buy these at mikesarcade.com. Here's something kind of funny. For those of you that watch TNT Amusements, the YouTube channel, someone made Todd a noise machine. And I noticed it, and I thought it was a good idea. It was a pretty cool little toy that someone made Todd, and it has, you know, pre-recorded sounds on the machine that it was pretty funny. I mean, it was like the normal noises that like Todd makes, you know, like Three Stooges sounds and so on. So I thought, you know what, that was such a great idea, and I was kind of jealous of whoever made that. So I decided to make my own PCB, and I'm gonna give it to Todd. And I just got these in the mail, let's say a week or two ago. And I actually, this is a different board. I actually assembled a couple parts on the first board, and I was like, oh no, what's going on? There was a problem. It's the whole top traces. There's a groove where the trace should be, but there's no copper inside the trace. So there was an error from the PCB company. And so I told them about it, and they're going to send me new boards with the trace, actually where they're supposed to be. But yeah, that's just a super simple, stupid, basic thing. I mean, it's the LEDs are going to move like they do it on a pinball machine and so on. I just thought that'd be really cool to give Todd. So eventually, I'm going to get that done. Hopefully, it takes forever for China to ship stuff to here. That's the thing, A few days ago, I picked up this Star Trek cabinet, and a few weeks ago, I picked up this Star Trek cabinet. Both of these are the dedicated cabinets. Now, you may ask why. I already have one. Well, the Star Trek that I have is in the converter cab. Now, I do believe that Star Treks did come from the factory in the converter cab along with the Star Trek kit. But this is considered the dedicated cabinet for the upright Star Trek. So I figured, kind of wanted it. So anyways, the one, this works already. Well, it worked. It had a little sound issue. I thought that was no big deal. The one in the kitchen, that does not work at all. And the first thing I did was test the power supply, and guess what? Power supply is bad. So, the monitor is probably going to be shot too, I guarantee it. So, anyways, I'm going to keep the nicer one, and I may keep the converter cab also, because the converter cab version will free up another cabinet. And yes, I technically already have all the Sega Vector games, right? There is a possibility that another Sega Vector game will be uncovered. Yes, there is a possibility. So I'm keeping that, and I'm not going to say anything else. I'm keeping that because there may be another Sega Vector game soon. So, I also picked up a Star Wars. Let's go out in the garage and let's take a look at Star Wars. I don't know if you can see that in the dark or not, but I'm walking out to the garage, and we put that motor that we were working on. I did a video about working on it a while back. Anyways, we put that motor in the Corvette. So, tripping over sticks. Also, yeah, you can't see it. Got 240Z here. This is one of my son's Corvettes. Hopefully water doesn't drip on the camera. But yeah, so this is a Star Wars picked up recently. I was told, well, it just needs to be assembled. Well, I don't think so. I tested the boards don't work. And the monitor is in pieces. There's a box of all the parts. Looked like someone was in the middle of populating one of those Des-Baz deflection boards. So I may do that, or I may just fix a deflection board and shove it in, call it a day. It's actually a nice cabinet. Nothing really wrong with it. And yes, Video Pinball has been absolutely untouched since the last video. Part of the holdup is I've been busy. Another part of the holdup is I ordered from This Old Game. So, when it happens, it'll happen. It may be a while. Well, let's go back out. Let's go back inside. By the way, I walked by this cabinet, this empty, brand new cabinet, and didn't explain a thing about it. See how it looks very similar to Rip-Off? That's because it is a rip-off. it just so happens that Sundance is the exact same cabinet as Ripoff. And so I couldn't find a Ripoff cabinet. Believe it or not, I have every single part for Sundance, except for the wiring harness, which I can do myself, and the PCB that goes underneath the control panel, which I will make that myself. You know, it would be I would be so grateful if I could borrow someone's, I know, yeah, right. If I could borrow someone's Sundance control panel PCB, that would be wonderful. But I'm probably just going to have to make it however I see fit, rather than make it right. Anyways, yeah, long story short, that cabinet was... See, I just recently tested this those boards in my Star Wars. Where's it going on? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, all the games are moved around. Everything's a big mess right now. But anyways, it just didn't feel right to put. I got Sundance art, Sundance everything, OG, and it just didn't feel right to stick in a new cabinet. And so I eventually found a guy who has a rip-off cabinet that just so happens to not even have the side art on it, and it's not too bad. So I'm gonna put all my Sundance stuff in a legit rip-off cabinet. Doesn't it feel wrong? I don't know. I know a lot of guys like to do it. It just feels wrong to put guts in a new cabinet. That's just my opinion, especially if it's gonna be Sundance. I don't know. So it was eating me alive. I didn't really pursue the project because I was a little disappointed, you know. I mean, no, the quality is good. I'm not saying that. The quality is great, but yeah, I don't want to use a new cabinet. I want something real. But yeah, everything. Look at this. Everything's moved around. The arcade is in shambles right now. You can't even get to all the spots. But I don't know. Let's see what else I could come up with. The lights on this tank are just turning on. This is in the morning. So right now not all the lights are on, all the corals are closed up. Well, that's about it. I guess, you know, I was very ill prepared for this video. Well, by the way, I am doing a auction, arcade part auction, on Facebook. Halloween night, starting at 8 o'clock Eastern. If any of you guys are interested in possibly buying some things on Facebook, if you're a Facebooker, you know, I understand why there's reasons why Facebook sucks and so on. I do understand. But if you're one of those guys that are on Facebook, check out my auction. I don't know, Kelly, anything random I could say? A beautiful wife, Kelly. I guess that is it. Have a good one, guys.